Too powerful force, the state.
Upbringing, outsource.
The church. One question.
Why does the Catholic Church have a great influence on the decision-making of the government?
Barangay Ayala Alabang para mag-ingay at
Paglabas sa kanilang mga karapatan ang ipinaglalaban ng ito, kundi maging ang paggamit ng makabagong paraan gaya ng contraceptives, injectables at intrauterine devices o IUDs na pupunta ng gobyerno.
Ng UP Population Institute noong 2006, 27 hindi na kayang bumuhay ng dagdag pang anak. 68% rin sa kanilang
Mid-morning on a weekday and Quiapo Church on the
bitbit nila. Panawagan ng mga sumama sa marcha.
Clothes, it has rained, and her assistant had only the most basic equipment.
Hindi naman natin nagtataas ang presyon.
Yeah, in 1981, hindi ba, Spain was the one that, which is more than, which is 87.4% ayos in Mindanao. Lahat sila na para sa mga non-Muslim Filipinos, nariyan na rin ang
Celebrate the civil union.
The Philippines is a Catholic-dominated society governed by leaders with different perspectives.
300 years ago,
Church interferes, if I may look at it, on the work or duties of crafting a law and governmental affairs. No, we must at least draw the line between the functions and the duties of the government, and these are the functions and the duties of the church. Well, we cannot blame the Catholic Church today because they anchored everything. They anchored their actions and decisions during the time of the Spanish period.
Today, the power of the church has been decreasing. What are the political and economic interests of the church?
Generally speaking, as long as their principles, their doctrines, and their flock, okay, as long as their doctrines could apply to their flock, that's all their interest. Economically speaking, well, church people could, based upon certain interpretations of their writings, they could fight against economic exploitation. They could fight against environmental degradation. That is a thing for the Philippines. We have priests leading
so many children, but maybe it's what God wants. Unlike in many of its
still based on the interpretation of doctrine and the responsibility of church
yung ovulation. Kung hindi nagpo-produce ng egg ang isang babae, wala
the Constitution. Pagtapos mag-educate ng Estado, nasa konsensya ng bawat mag-asawa.
ng daing tao, maunlad. Singapore, kukunting tao.
Where you have a religious organization as the primary body in that state. A theocracy is the rule of religious organizations. So that is another thing. Okay, but for our case, for the Philippines, you just have a religious organization ensuring that the politics of the country, the lawmaking process, doesn't turn against the doctrines of the church. Okay.
The Catholic Church is still fighting for its right to have a morally based government.
Ang church kasi, ang role niyan is ang forte kasi ng church is faith and morals. Pag sinabing faith and morals, regarding your faith and your morals is your way of life. As a Christian country, siyempre yung mas predominant ang Christian morality. Ano? So, tapos, kung ang mga lawmakers ay Christian, dapat nagre-reflect yung kanilang Christian faith and morals. Ang church kasi, ang gawa ng church is to safeguard that the faith and morals is really intact. So that's why, that's the role of the church, to evangelize, to keep the faith and moral intact and being implemented or being carried. So anything that touches moral and anything that touches faith, even the civil law, the church has to speak. Kasi he has to clarify it eh. So yun ang that's why very vocal ang church pag pinag-usapan ang morality. And although civilly or legally, kasi iba civil law at saka moral law, civil and moral law. Civil law can be passed by or enacted by human like legislators, So not all legal are moral.
On the stand of the government, they want to prioritize the safety of the women. That is why they want to implement those laws.
Church, I think I would say the Catholic Church takes an unfairly imposing role in terms of controlling a lot of laws that are passed here in the Philippines, and a great deal of which also concern women. It's like the Catholic Church assumes that just because Catholicism is the dominant religion here, it's like it assumes that it's the only religion that exists. Or it's like, remember what we talked about in religion, like the difference between an ecclesia versus a denomination. Technically, we don't have an official religion here in the Philippines or a national religion, but it's almost like the Catholic Church has assumed that kind of position simply because we have a majority of citizens here who are Catholic.
How are women affected?
How are women affected? I would say there are a great deal of laws as they're passed here or as they exist that are unfair to women, and the Catholic Church ends up condoning them or trying to suppress certain attempts to actually make the laws more egalitarian and to open up opportunities for women, whether it's economic or social opportunities.
Let us elect for leaders with good moral values to bring prosperity to our country.
Although the Catholic Church has been a big part of our history, that does not mean that the Catholic Church has to meddle with political affairs all the time.
So let us further support the separation of the state from the Catholic Church without forgetting our own moral values.